That is now that, my friends. The transfer window has officially ended. It expired at 11 PM UK time in London. And for all our hustling, efforts and endeavours, we say welcome to Chelsea Football Club, Jadon Sancho, but goodbye to Victor OSIMHEN. Before we get into anything though, today's video is brought to you by HelloFresh. Yes, Chelsea and football fans, this summer, you're dedicating a ton of energy keeping up with all this transfer business and Euro activities, so you're going to need the right fuel to stay in the game. And this is where you can let HelloFresh help your meal selection headaches because you're a serious person with serious priorities. And as we all know, ball comes over anything else. So HelloFresh's meal kits are exactly what you need this summer with their nutritious, healthy and delicious meals that you can choose from. As you guys can see, these are the 3 meals that I selected. I went for a quick, easy stir fry because I love my Asian food, and after that I went for more ambitious meals because I'm trying to impress the bae this weekend, so I went for something a bit more bougie. HelloFresh comes packed with an amazing selection and variety of meals that you can choose from. All you need to do is select your desired meal. Then follow these simple cooking instructions to create a delicious meal with no extra time. My friends, as you guys can see, I'm pretty happy with how my meal turned out. So my friends, take advantage of this amazing HelloFresh deal. Get 60% off your first box plus 20% off your next 2 months. On top of that, you get free desserts for life, and all you have to do is scan the QR code on screen beside me or use my link in the description, pinned comment, using my unique codes BlueLions. HelloFresh respects your time. You can pause, cancel or change delivery address whenever you need. So thank you today to HelloFresh for sponsoring today's video. Take advantage of this amazing offer, and I love to see what meals that you guys pick. So let's get straight into discussing the breaking story of this evening and this entire deadline day, as Jadon Sancho is now a Chelsea player. He is set to sign for us on an initial loan with an obligation to buy in the end. This makes a lot of sense. We learned during this afternoon that we made 2 bids for Sancho. One was a loan with an option to buy, the other was a loan with an obligation to buy. The rumour was that United had hoped to earn around 25 million for the permanent sale of Jadon Sancho, and we are now learning, courtesy of The Athletic, Unseen and all the big journalists, we've agreed a loan deal plus £25 million obligation to buy for next season. For United, this is pretty decent. They earn from a loan fee. They saved money by taking his wages off their wage bill, and they're set to earn a guaranteed sum of £25 million for next summer. So in total, they will earn over £30 million for Jadon Sancho. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, Nini, it's exciting news, of course. The dopamine is kicking off right now. I'm hooked. But is Sancho really needed? I think the person who can only answer that is Enzo Maresca. And I think we can learn what he was thinking, because he was the one to really push for Jadon Sancho in the end. Joe Giles played a big part in targeting Sancho and getting him to sign for us, but Maresca wanted to work with Jadon Sancho, and it makes a lot of sense. For myself, after he realised that Raheem Sterling was going to be sold, and that was an executive decision from the club to get him off the wage bill, Maresca was like, okay, I'm okay with that, even though 2.5 weeks ago he was saying how important Sterling was. But Maresca's like, if you're gonna get Sterling out my squad, I need a new winger, because there is no way in hell I can rely on Mikhailo Mudryk after I've seen him now for the past 6 to 7 weeks during pre-season and during games this season. If you're gonna let Sterling go, we need to bring in someone else. And there was one man in particular I want to work with who has the quality on the ball, in the half spaces, out wides, and of course the combination plays, and that is none other than Jadon Sancho. I do think that Sancho's stock did rise during his endeavours with Dortmund on loan, especially in the Champions League. I remember his performance against Paris Saint-Germain. He looked like the Jadon Sancho of old that every massive club was trying to sign for around 90 to 100 million pounds. His value has dramatically fallen. A lot of that, in my opinion, comes down to the fact that United really had no real game plan to get the best out of him, because they tried to use Sancho as a touchline winger. And I think to myself, with all these experts and analysts and scouts that big clubs hire, why do they always miss the main context of a player? Well, how do they miss these details? You can't expect Sancho to do all this work by himself down the flank without any support from a fullback. as if him and Guerrero weren't amazing down that left flank. So I think personally, in terms of the football we play in our style and the fact that Maresca wants him and the fact that Sancho doesn't have to rely on his physicality in the system, he can rely on his footballing brain, his technique, ability in tight spaces, his combination plays, I feel like he can have a positive trajectory staying at this football club. Obviously, this now means we have 8 outfield players in attack: Felix Nkunku, Palmer, Madueke, Neto, Sancho, and then the strikers as well. It's a lot to handle. Maresca will have to be very delicate and really understand how to get the best out of all of them and give them the minutes they want, because all these players have kind of similar playing qualities in my opinion. But at the same time, we do have some unreal depth right now. And yeah, I guess we just wait to see what Sancho can do. Of course, he won't be playing against Crystal Palace, that's coming too soon. But after international break, we should see our first appearances of Sancho. It might not be looking great for Mykhailo Mudryk, but Sancho at least can offer that versatility down the left flank, right flank, and in the middle at times too. So there you have it, my friends. One of the big signings of this deadline day has been completed, and Jadon Sancho is our player on loan for the year and is set to sign for us on a permanent deal from next season. How do you feel about this news? Let us know in the comment section. Do you like it? Do you not? I really want to know you guys' opinions on this. And now, my friends, let's end things with the final big story on all our minds today, and that is Victor OSIMHEN. Is he set to sign for us? The reality is the deal is not going through. Now, we've learned that this transfer took many crazy twists and turns. We start with Al Ahly because Al Ahly were the ones who actually had an offer accepted by Napoli at the time of around 75 to 80 million euros. Of course, they agreed a 120 million 4-year deal with Victor OSIMHEN and his agent himself. But today, we learned that last minute, Napoli, once they got whiff of Al Ahly's efforts for Ivan Toney, they then increased their demands. Now, that annoyed Al Ahly, hence why they decided to end their interest in OSIMHEN, because not only were they frustrated by the sudden price increase, but they were also frustrated by the fact that they knew that OSIMHEN saw them as backup the entire time. So they focused their attentions very early on in Ivan Toney, and they've got their man. And listen, credit to Ivan Toney securing this move for a guy that's left Newcastle at a youth age, gone from League 2 to League 1 to the Championships to the Premier League, all the way up the football pyramid. I mean, this guy earns like 1 million a year at Brentford. He's on a very tiny contract. So the fact that he's set to earn 51 million over 3 years, that's generational money. And you can see why in the end, he couldn't turn them down. So once Al Ahly were out the picture, it meant that today we had full advantage to go all out for Victor OSIMHEN to make something happen. We learned that we tried many negotiation tactics to make it happen. We did not give up. We tried our hardest. But Napoli were very difficult to negotiate with, understandably. And once whiff got out early this afternoon that Napoli would even keep Victor if they weren't happy with the terms, then of course I started to have a little bit of doubt creeping in. Now, Victor did want the move, and he was quite angry during negotiations that he didn't get his way. But even when it looked like possibilities were on the horizon, it did seem like the main thing yet again was the financial disparity between the offer we could afford to give Victor and the wages Victor wanted to receive. Now, we have to remember, because we don't have Champions League football, because we have FFP constraints and PSR constraints on top as well, even though we could technically offer 300, 400, 500,000 a week, on the books, we can't technically afford that. So of course, we tried to get rid of players to free up some flexibility, but we had hoped that we would be able to get Victor on loan first, get him to agree to an incentivized performance-related contract deal, and then hopefully sign him on those terms. Now, we did learn in the end that there was a 100,000 a week disparity difference in terms of the clauses inserted in this deal that would have been crucial to allow this deal to get completed. But in the end, of course, it wasn't enough. Victor said no to those proposals. Who knows why? And it seems like he's now set to stay at Napoli. Now, I'm sure in January something could come back on the horizon. Could he be there for more affordable prices or fees? Who knows? But it's not a great situation for him. Obviously, he's entitled to his money. I understand that. You know what? If we secure Champions League football, you'll probably get a massive pay rise the following season. Like, are you not going to back your footballing ability? Are you not going to back your talent? Are you not going to back, your stature as a striker? One of the top number 9s in world football. I mean, it is what it is. I think it would be very lazy for us to be like, Victor, you're so greedy. Why are you not accepting our offer on our terms? But equally, at the same time, you could argue, if we didn't maybe waste so much money, buying an abundance of players, maybe focused on the key positions we actually wanted to go for, could we not have freed up funds to be able to actually satisfy Victor's demands? Let's say instead of there being like 100,000 a week disparity difference, what if that was like 20k in the end? Or what if there was more flexibility that could have come from finding better payment terms? You look at certain signings that we've made, maybe I keep saying Dewsbury, I keep saying it, or even maybe, guys like Jadon Sancho coming in, other players coming in as well. OSIMHEN and a striker was such a key position to sign that we've gone right to the very final minutes and moments of this deadline day. Why did we not show that he was a priority from the start? And why did we not make sure that we were able to satisfy his wage terms? I think there's questions there. And I think there's more of a conversation compared to being lazy and just brushing it off by saying, Victor OSIMHEN's a greedy guy, why is he not accepting our crap terms, etc, etc. Listen, top players will be paid the top money, right? Now, another thing I want to add quickly to this is that when our negotiation strategy was made this public, that we were purposefully waiting right to the very end to try and put pressure on both Napoli and OSIMHEN to accept the terms we wanted, obviously, there was going to be a massive opportunity that things would bite us in the arse again. And how many people, of course, would respect that? You don't want to feel like you're being played before you're set to sign for a club that supposedly really wants you. If we really wanted him, we'd prioritize him, and maybe we wouldn't have signed another goalkeeper. Maybe we would have prioritized the use of our funds by being responsible signing focused players that actually upgrade the team and using the rest of the players we already have in the squad. When you're signing Dewsbury Halls and maybe other goalkeepers when you already have some, and other positions when you have players that can already play there for now, you have to ask yourself, how important is OSIMHEN really to us? Do we really want him? Do we really see him as the upgrade to be the finishing piece in the team? And now he's set to be out the Napoli squad entirely, on the periphery right now until the next transfer window. So listen, Victor's best bet right now is that a Saudi club comes back in for him because their window closes on the 2nd of September, and that's pretty much that, to be fair with you. So OSIMHEN won't be signing for us. On one hand, I know someone who's going to be a very happy man. That's going to be Nicholas Jackson. This is what he needs to continue his development. And I know someone who's going to be a very angry man, and that's going to be Uncle Mikel. So my friends, that's the OSIMHEN saga, ending in a very anticlimactic fashion. But to be fair, I'm okay, because I kind of wanted to see this false 9 experiment just a little bit more until at least January. So I'm feeling a bit hopeful surrounding the things I've seen. And I think we have enough firepower for many positions in attack now that could mitigate the need to sign a striker. I've been saying this stuff throughout transfer stories, that if we don't sign OSIMHEN, spread the goals out across the rest of the squad. So that's that. Share your thoughts and opinions. How do you feel? Let us know below. Now, in terms of sales from the football club, one of the big conversations and stories of today was the future surrounding Raheem Sterling, but tonight, my friends, his future has been clarified. He is set to go to Arsenal on loan for the season. At the moment, we don't know whether this includes an obligation to buy or whether it's set to be an initial loan spell with options to buy in the future. Sterling has reached personal agreements with Arsenal, and Arsenal and the club have reached an agreement in principle on this deal. Make way for Sterling going to Arsenal. It seems like Reece Nelson is set to sign for Ipswich Town on loan for the season. And after Arsenal were given the opportunity to sign and receive Raheem Sterling, it seems like Arteta and Arsenal did not want to waste this opportunity, and it continues this recent trend we're seeing of maybe Arsenal taking advantage of players who aren't looked at favourably at this football club and then helping them recover their form. I mean, I might sound cynical, but recently they're above us in the league table in consecutive seasons, and our players tend to do pretty decent when they're going to Arsenal. So for Raheem Sterling, it's a massive opportunity to not only, keep his family in the city. And in my opinion, I think Sterling was only going to pick going to Manchester, where he spent many years there playing for Man City, or finding another London club to go to. So Arsenal was the perfect opportunity because it's very hard to expect your family to uproot their entire life in a handful of days for the sake of your career. So everything works out for all parties right now. I guess the only disappointing thing is that there is no obligation or loan option that guarantees his permanent move. But listen, if he can perform for Arsenal, that could entice them to make an offer, or if not, at least there's more opportunities for the end of next season to maybe determine his future and decide what is set to go down. So good luck to Raheem Sterling, I guess. Of course, the way things ended wasn't great. I don't think it was the most amicable separation, but he handled it as best as he could. And I guess in the meantime, we've replaced him with Jadon Sancho. And now we see how the season really kicks off. So yeah, again, how do you guys feel about Sterling going to Arsenal? Are you a bit perplexed by us sending him to a rival, or do you understand, listen, with him being on massive wages already as it is, and with the complexities and difficulties of even getting a loan or sale to begin with, this move for news is best compared to nothing at all. So let us know how you feel about this. My friends, we continue to discuss the latest club exits as Trevor Chalobah has secured a season-long loan to Crystal Palace, again with no options to buy or obligations to buy. It's a straight loan for the season, and I guess that's the most amicable way for this situation to end, because of course Chalobah has been omitted from first-team duties. He's been training with the reserve squad, and obviously he needs to play football. We've not got many great opportunities. He's had some opportunities on loan from Stuttgart and a few European clubs, but nothing is really screaming out to him. And I think Chalobah was hoping for maybe better opportunities to come. So I do think Crystal Palace is literally best compared to nothing at all yet again. And actually, you get to stay in London. You're going to a club that seems to be on the rise a little bit and has potential to maybe crack top 10. But on top of that, they're a club where big clubs tend to buy players from them. Not every club from across the league can sell players to big clubs, but Palace have a recent history of doing so. Not only that, they're showing that if you perform at Crystal Palace, you can actually find yourself in the England international setup. You're looking at Eze, you're looking at Guy, you're looking at Wharton as well. And Guy and Wharton are still at the football club alongside Eze. There's big promise there. Now that it's been confirmed that Crystal Palace have signed Lacroix as well, you're looking at a Glasner back three that has Guy, Lacroix and Chalobah. That's one of the most exciting back threes in the country at the moment. And if everything works good, if they find their form again, and if they perform to the potential that this Palace team now have, Chalobah could be at the best club to boost his clout, boost his appeal, and by the end of the season, he could have bigger clubs after him, injury permitting. So good luck to him. I think he's handled this situation like an exceptional pro that he is. Great character, great quality. I think it'll be a massive loss for the dressing room, to be fair with you, because one thing I was hearing about Chalobah last season was that he was really growing in his leadership abilities in terms of how he was the big guy for the young players, in terms of how he addressed himself with the management, with the players and the squad, and the respect levels he had as well. So I think it's a bit of a loss, but obviously this confirms the fact that the Sassy now is set to remain with us. So good luck to Trevor Chalobah. To my friends, on that note, that is transfer deadline day over. There's going to be more videos coming out tomorrow. I'm going to be reviewing our business, and there'll be the preview for the Palace game. So make sure you guys stay locked in on BlueLionsTV. Yeah. So on that note, my guys and girls, everyone else, I'm the EFC. This is BlueLionsTV. See you all soon. Cool.